who take a Diamond DA-40, which is a very modern, very nice airplane, but it still flies very slow, which is good for a tour. And runway 22 sounds good. Okay, let's go. And then let me try to pull up my flight plan over here on my iPad. Assuming my iPad is still streaming, I think it is. Okay, so on SkyVector, I have this flight plan. I'll go to open in Foreflight, and we'll load that. And let's go to Tokyo.
Tokyo Tower, Diamond November 007 Whiskey Alpha, ready for departure to the west at runway 22.
All right, Tokyo. Here we go.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 22, departure to the west approved.
Departure to the west approved. Runway 22.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 22, Diamond 7 Whiskey Alpha.
Yeah, so this is an Austrian airplane, the Diamond DA-40. It's
Approaching runway 22.
it's a four-seater, but it's actually a pretty light airplane. You can actually seat 4 heavy adults into it. Unless you you can barely do it if you like carry very little fuel. But mainly this is an airplane for 3 people and a little bit of baggage. But it's on the affordable side for in the grand scheme of how expensive airplanes are. This one is, I think, around I want to say $700,000, and it can fly for, I think, about 5 hours or so. And its cabin is just beautiful because you just get really good views, and it's a low-wing airplane, so your view isn't obstructed by the wing, so like you can look around and just get a really good view. And oh, this is the older model. This is the older model of the Diamond. My co-pilot. All right, let's take off. Man, I haven't seen this one before. This is like dinosaur avionics. I'm almost tempted to change the airplane, but interest of time. Let's go. Alright, I think the Diamond takes off at 69 knots. So we'll wait for 69 knots. And let's make it sunrise time. Nine knots, rotating. Flaps up. Alright, so we just took off from Haneda International, so we'll fly northwest and head towards Tokyo. Oh yeah, this is running so much better now with my new processor and the insanely fast RAM that I got. And it looks like I'm consuming 20 gigabytes out of 32, so yeah, I'm good on memory. My iPad is about to die. So Spark code 0264. 0264. Altimeter is 29902. So this over here is Tsukiji Fish Market. It was the largest fish market in the world, and it was shut down in 2018 or 19, I think. It was moved not too far, like literally right over there. And this place was supposed to be a complex for like storing cars for the Tokyo Olympics traffic. But the Olympics did not end up happening. Then so Tokyo is the best rendered city in the entire game. Because Japan is the only country that has 3D photogrammetry. They don't have that enabled for any other place except Japan. So you can see that there's more minor details here. You see, like in the building textures, the streets, just a lot more minor detail. So we just flew over Ginza, which is the high-end neighborhood or area in Tokyo. Like pretty much every international like shopping brand has some kind of presence in Ginza, and there's like high-end restaurants and all kinds of fancy places. And this green patch over here, this is the Imperial Palace. This is where the Emperor of Japan has been living ever since the capital of Japan was moved to Tokyo. And when I was in Tokyo, I remember going on a run across this whole perimeter, which was just quite nice. And next I'll go to one of my favorite neighborhoods in Tokyo. So we're headed towards Akihabara. Akihabara is like the electronics district. Like you can find like anything related to Japanese anime, video games, electronics, computers, what have you, and it's all like in this stretch right over here. Let's see if I can zoom out. This right here is like a giant department store full of like cameras and electronics and computers. It's like the B&H equivalent. I've been here. This is the world's biggest manga store. You can find like pretty much anything anime related. I stayed at a capsule hotel right across the street, right across like this main intersection. So it was or rather on the north side of this little canal, and so it was somewhere right over there. Like I think one of these buildings was the hotel that I stayed at, and let's keep going. So that's the Tokyo Skytree right over there. I think when it was completed, it was the tallest building in Japan, and at some point it had some kind of record, world record, I don't remember now. And yeah, so we'll do a quick flyby. Tokyo Skytree. It looks more impressive from up close. Tokyo Skytree. From far away, it just looks like a nondescript tower. And right over here, I forget the name of this Buddhist temple over here. But it's hundreds of years old, and it's very cool. It's worth checking out. And this neighborhood is like more traditional, like Tokyo. And there's also like a really cool market. The market is this patch over here, right there. And there's like a ton of souvenir shops with very reasonable prices. You can like pick up like stuff that you want to take back home, all kinds of like gifts or like snacks and things like that to take. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick flight through Shibuya and maybe Shinjuku, and then I'm gonna call it an evening. Maybe I'll head for a quick landing into Haneda. But yeah, maybe I'll end my flight by trying to fly through buildings until I eventually end up crashing. Though that ends up being a very unsatisfactory, I think, to end the day with a crashed airplane. I'll go for a landing instead. This like big cluster of buildings coming up ahead of us is the area of Shinjuku, and it's definitely worth exploring. There's just a lot of great entertainment spots, restaurants. There's one specific area, I forget its name, but there you can find like these very narrow streets. It basically didn't get destroyed during World War II, and a lot of the businesses over there, they don't have any addresses. It's just like these tiny little stalls, and they're so small, and maybe they'll just have like one table and 4 seats, and it's you can find some like really good yakitori. A lot of like salarymen like to go and eat there after work, grab a few drinks, and grab some cheap dinner. So let's try to find that famous Shibuya Crossing, where like thousands of people like in a single intersection, like crossing at the same time, the frenzy. Maybe we can make it midday. Okay, so Shibuya is not too far away from Yoyogi National Gymnasium, which I think is one of the spots for like the Tokyo Olympics. And there it is. That is Shibuya Crossing, right over here, where you see a lot of people going through the pedestrian crosswalk at the same time. I think Shibuya Crossing has come up in lots of movies, including Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. And there's also another neighborhood, Harajuku, which is right over there. And if I'm not mistaken, this might be Cat Street over here. And that is also like definitely worth checking out. A really cool spot. Lots of it's like the Williamsburg or Mission District, San Francisco. Very hip. There's an observation deck to my east that I went to. That was also like really cool and worth checking out. There's a helipad on the top, and you basically your ticket lets you go onto the rooftop of the building, which gives you like this really nice view of Tokyo. That was totally worth the money. Dennis, if you send me, so Dennis has suggested that I do Shanghai next time. So Dennis, if you send me like 7 to 8 spots on Google Maps, like relatively spaced out, I will go ahead and do a tour over Shanghai. I don't know how well the rendering will be. but I would definitely love to see China. So I think this was the observation deck that I was talking about. I wonder if I have any pictures to share. I need to get. Yeah, I don't have any pictures to share. Though this is one of the photos that I took in Tokyo when I was there. This was taken from Episu. Different neighborhood, different trip. I was living. My hotel was on a high floor, and I took this sunrise photo that came out pretty nice. And this Eiffel Tower looking building, whose name I forget. You can see it in the simulator as well. That picture. Okay, let's keep going. Let's do nighttime. Or let's do sunset. And we'll go full nighttime. Dennis, I'm not gonna say what you said to me out loud. That's such a fear, though, right? Like you're like live streaming stuff. Okay, let's head back to Haneda. Alright, we'll tune into tower and request a full stop landing.
Tokyo Tower, Diamond, November 007, Whiskey Alpha is 7 miles north of flank to land. Diamond, November 007, Whiskey Alpha, Tokyo Tower. Enter left base runway 22.
Left base runway 22. Okay, so runway 22 is...
Diamond 7 Whiskey Alpha, clear to land runway 22. Wind 277.
Clear to land runway 22.
Clear to land runway 22, Diamond 7 Whiskey Alpha.
So runway 22 is perpendicular to this runway that I'm flying parallel to, basically. So we're gonna do a left. Left base doesn't make any sense. Like right base makes more sense for me. But I guess like left traffic is like standard. But in the interest of time, I'm just gonna violate that command. Also, I got clearance for landing. So okay. Okay, we'll start working towards our landing configuration. So we're at our altitude, which is 1,000 feet. I'll extend my flaps and get a stabilized descent of 500 feet per minute. Okay, 42 degrees of flaps, and we don't need to worry about landing here. This airplane is so easy to fly, it's such a simple airplane. And there's our glide slope. The 2 white lights and the 2 red lights mean that I'm perfect on the glide slope. 3 red means I'm a little bit too low. So let's fix that. Okay, so now we're looking much better. little bit of wind correction angle. We have a little bit of wind today. And, oh, there's another airplane on the runway. Too many people. Okay, I'm not used to landing with the outside view, but I want to show that I can do smooth landings. So let's give this a shot. We'll go ahead and get off this runway that has way too many airplanes on it. This would give air traffic controller a heart attack. Okay, I'm not gonna bother contacting ground. Let's just go park at one of these gates and call it a day. So this airline in particular doesn't know how to park airplanes because they went into the terminal. So that's a little unfortunate. Let's see. Okay, this looks better. Yeah, this is about as good as any other spot. Maybe we'll move right behind this baggage cart. Dennis says, gotta run into a meeting, but this was dope. Gonna come up with some places on Google Maps for Shanghai. That sounds great. Send me those places. I'll create a flight plan and do a guided tour. Thanks for tuning in, Dennis. And I'm also calling it a day. So Lapsa, trim takeoff position, avionics off, mixture idle cut off. We shut off the engine. Why isn't the engine turning off? Okay, first I couldn't start an engine and now I can't turn it off. But anyway, all lights off. And hope you enjoyed this stream and have a good weekend.